to win a championship. The Nets never have. But if this thing continues like this, you might as well give it to them now. Last night, game 2. Oh, look at KD working on Giannis, crossing him up. He continues to make plays. So does Kyrie Irving. We're still in the first quarter. The Nets are up by 10. The Nets would shoot 52% from the floor for this game. They had a 17-point lead after one. Oh, speaking of high percentage shots, Blake Griffin. Oh, right in the face of Giannis. Everything going the Nets' way. They lead by 21. A minute to play in the second quarter. The lead is 22. It's Durant. The Nets made 21 threes in this game. KD was 4 of 6. Nets by 24 at halftime. Third quarter, more of the same. Durant. Oh, look at this little nifty move. He had 32 and didn't play the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter now, Nets in cruise control. Kyrie Irving would score 22 only because he didn't need to score more. The Nets win it by 39 in a game, and I mean this, that wasn't as close as the final score would indicate. That's right, and they won by 39. So, Jalen, I have so many questions. I kind of want to begin with Giannis. Like, this was supposed to be the Bucks' year. Kendrick Perkins was telling me last week the Bucks are going to win this series, and they've been humiliated. What happened?
I picked the Bucks also to win this series, and I was someone that wanted to believe that Giannis, the back-to-back reigning MVP, who also won Defensive Player of the Year, with the addition of Drew Holiday and Middleton playing like an all-star, like this team was going to be poised to go further this year than they've done in the past. And you touched on it, Greeny. It starts with Giannis. It starts with him struggling to shoot outside of the paint. He's 6 for 35 in these playoffs outside of the paint. 6 for 35. He's 23 of 43 from the free throw line. The game is so very tough when you can't make shots, especially your best player. And while we're highlighting Giannis offensively, let me tell you what happens when the rabbit get the gun. If you notice, it seems like KD had 50 yesterday. And it seems like Kyrie had 40. You know why? Because their buckets were loud. They were thunderous, like that Blake Griffin dunk. And you know who's in these highlights? That's Giannis right there, getting crossed up and won by KD. That's Giannis that Kyrie is coming across half court, pulling up from 3. That was Giannis that Blake Griffin dunked on, and that was KD who driving past Giannis who did the up and under. So it's really hard to win and be confident when your best player is getting torched by the other team. But I must say this for the Bucks. They ain't just losing. They getting beat. And without James Harden, it's deflating. Because when you lose game 1, it's one thing. It's like, all right, fellas, we're going to respond in game 2. Ain't no way they about to beat us without James Harden, especially in game 2. And now they lost game 2. No way the Bucks are winning 4 out of 5. The Nets are going to find a way to advance.
Okay, I'm with you. I think everyone on planet Earth is with you. But if you're Mike Budenholzer and you have to go into this thing trying. So give me an adjustment. What are you doing? What is the one thing on the floor Milwaukee has to do in game 3 to at least make a show of it?
Giannis has to make jump shots, Greeny. Like, the one thing about the game is he's going to be dominant in the paint, on his drives, on his layups, on his dunks. But when they're leaving you wide open, you practice these shots. You have to make these shots from 3, from mid-range, and from the free throw line. Because guess who are 2 of the best shot makers in the history of the NBA? Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So when you're missing shots, they're going down on the other end, Greeny, boogieing, oohing and ahhing, and then pulling up and making shots with various degrees of difficulty. But Giannis at the free throw line is struggling, which also affects him mentally. It affects the rest of the team psychologically. And also, I need to see more from Chris Middleton. In particular, in the first quarter, he looked off balance. He was struggling to get. He was struggling to attack the basket with ferocity. Like, normally Chris Middleton is smooth, and he's the opposite of loud. He gets his buckets within the offense, and I didn't see that from him. So I'm disappointed in Middleton, in Holiday, and in Giannis. But again, they're not just losing. They're getting beat, and that's 2 different things.
All right, so let me do one thing. For those who don't know, I once played on a basketball team that Jalen was the coach. It was a celebrity all-star game one year. You coached against Bill Simmons. I was on your team, and we won. Here's the question. I've seen your halftime motivational speech. Give me the motivation. What is one player, whoever the leader of the Milwaukee Bucks is, have to get up at practice in front of all of his teammates today and say?
Well, that person actually got to be Giannis. And also, he has his brother on the team. And here's what he got to say. Hey, guys, we can't change anything that happened in the first 2 games. That's on me. But you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to go out there and be a dog. I'm about to go out there and be dominant. And I'm about to dunk on everybody in the state of New York, in the city of Brooklyn. I am not settling. I know y'all see him backing up off of me and all of that. I'm just going to drive. And you know what? When I'm playing D, I'm locking in. I'm slapping the floor. I'm getting up in KD's face. And here's what you got to also do. Like, what got lost in today's game is there's no physical intimidation. Like, these guys, you can't just let them operate freely. You got to upset KD. You got to upset Kyrie. You got to have them looking at the officials. You can't just have them looking at the bucket. Because when they doing that, KD's shooting 55 from the floor, 50 from 3, over 90 from the line, and averaging 35. You got to interrupt these guys. You got to be physical with these guys. And you got to play like this means everything. I re-signed for a reason. I'm dedicated to you guys. I re-signed in the offseason because I'm dedicated to you guys, and I'm going to show y'all in Game 3 how dominant I'm about to be. Huge game for Giannis. They don't get swept. They do win Game 3.
Okay, there he is, Jalen Rose, who got the trivia right today and is feeling good. We'll see Jalen and Jacoby later.
Stars, Game 1 against the Hawks.
Trey, what is the main goal of the team right now?
To win.
Oh, from way downtown.
Every single guy is trying to do too much.
We know they're going to come out with a lot of energy.
A long 3. He's got it.
He is serving everybody. We are seeing something we never expected. The exclamation point, John Collins.
I just want to play basketball and have fun.
You know, if someone told you before Game 1 of Sixers-Hawks that Joel Embiid would return from his knee injury and score 39, you'd think Philly would roll, but that doesn't take into account Trae Young. Scored 25 of his 35 points in the first half, and Atlanta built the big lead before holding on 128-124. Young also added 10 assists. He has been so fun to watch in the early part of these playoffs. Welcoming back Monica McNutt. And Monica, how can the Sixers do a better job of defending Trae Young as the series moves forward?
Man, Barry, that floater is absolutely lethal, right? But they've got 2 guys defensively whose numbers have been pulled in terms of slowing Trae Young. That would be Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle. Now, it gets tricky because what Trae does so well, in addition to using that floater or switching it into the lob, is drawing fouls. And Ben Simmons can ill afford to get into early foul trouble trying to guard Trae. But those are the 2 guys that come to mind. I thought at points in this game, when they threw the double team out of the screen, that first trap was pretty strong. They were able to gather a second trap, and that's oftentimes when you saw the Sixers manage to force the Atlanta Hawks into a turnover. But you got to keep Trae in front of you as best you can and kind of pick your poison. There's also a train of thought. He's shooting low 30s from behind the arc. Let him shoot the 3. That's less deadly than when he gets into the paint. You have to defend him early and often. They can't let him get started so quickly. As we showed, 25 of his 35 points were in the first half. He scores in bunches. So does Monica McNutt. Monica, thank you for your perspective.